You're watching Mysteries and Mayhem, you're dead right about that. This is an original comic book story set within the short story universe. The Mysteries and Mayhem stories were written in an open-ending sort of way. It's for you, the listener, to gather all the information presented and decide how the stories could end. This allows you to be the storyteller. Plus, the Mysteries and Mayhem stories are fantastic ways for viewers/subscribers to learn character development, character arc, story structure, and lots more. To get a better understanding of this story, please turn on CC closed captions. Now use your darkest imagination as you listen, learn, and enjoy this original comic book story called Mysteries and Mayhem, you're dead right about that. Undercover military vehicle / routine road trip / supply run. Spooner. Spooner. Spooner shouted the rowdy military members packed inside the undercover military vehicle. Alright, okay, you want to hear more Dead Cliffs stories, said Shawn Spooner. Yeah, shouted everyone. Like I said, I used to hike all the way up to the top of Dead Cliffs every summer, and every summer I'd hear the eeriest stories. Okay. First off, it's a 1-hour hike straight across before hitting the bottom of the hiking trail. From the bottom of the hiking trail to the top, it's an additional 5 hours of hike time. During hike time, this is when you'd hear stories from other hikers. The stories often slow you down from hitting the top of Dead Cliffs because everyone stands around listening or telling stories about what they saw or heard. During one of my hikes, I heard that this popular paranormal investigator was live on her short stream all in one account when she slipped and fell to her death. Other paranormal investigators say it was terribly dark during their paranormal investigation, thus Julie Sue couldn't see the edge. Hikers say they sometimes hear the voice of a female screaming as she's falling off Dead Cliffs. Also, hikers say they don't see a female, yet her screaming is one of the most heartbreaking and terrifying sounds ever. More, shouted the rowdy military members inside the vehicle. Okay, one more story because we're almost back to base, said Shawn. Yeah, shouted everyone. Now this story freaks me out and it's totally sad as well. So, this guy named Scott Bronston aka Sir Cray Cray was a skydiver. He and a group of others jumped from a plane and they'd skydive their way down to the Dead Cliffs. Well, something goes terribly wrong for Scott and he nosedives toward Dead Cliffs directly into a large crowd of hikers on the hiking trail. Everyone on the hiking trail scrambled around for safety as they heard Scott shouting, "Clear out of the way." Hikers from that day say they still live with what happened to Scott and they come to Dead Cliffs just to leave flowers in remembrance of Scott. People who knew Scott say he was the coolest guy. He had 2 younger brothers that he mentored, and a lovely girlfriend that he wanted to marry. So, I hear that Dead Cliffs is currently closed to the public because of all that has happened there, said Shawn. Seconds after Shawn finished his Dead Cliff stories, a roadside bomb exploded. Shawn was transported to the medical center back on base. Shawn was released stateside, and he was shipped back home just days after the roadside bomb explosion. Stateside / Shawn back at home. Shawn wanted to hike up to the Dead Cliffs. Shawn learned that despite all the horrifying incidents, Dead Cliffs was reopened to the public. 1 hour straight across. As Shawn eagerly journeyed his way toward Dead Cliffs, he noticed that there were no huge crowds neither going up nor coming down the hiking trail. However, depending on the time and day of the week, the hiking traffic comes to a complete crawl. Out of nowhere, a small group appeared before Shawn as they made their way straight across the hiking trail. "Do you mind if I hike with you?" asked Shawn. "Sure," said Danny Boyd in a strange, disembodied voice. "I'm surprised to learn that this place reopened after all the strange incidents here," said Shawn. He, said Tanya Rothers as she giggled in yet another disembodied voice. "I'm Aaron," said Aaron Whitmire in a strange, muffled voice. "I'm Shawn Spooner. I just got shipped home from the military," said Shawn. "Cool," said Danny. "Oh, my shoelace," said Shawn as he quickly tied up his right shoelace. Again, Aaron laughed in an eerie, disembodied voice. "Tying up my left shoelace while I'm at it," shouted Shawn. "What the heck," said Shawn as he stood up and couldn't believe his eyes. The group that he'd just met and started the hour walk across with was now all the way over at the bottom of the hiking trail. "No way," whispered Shawn as he watched the group huddled together with big smiles on their faces as they talked amongst each other. Next, the craziest thing happened. The group simply vanished from the bottom of the hiking trail, and they reappeared at the top of Dead Cliffs. "What in the world?" whispered Shawn with a confused look on his face. "Is this some sort of prank?" whispered Shawn. The hiking trail was well laid out, so Shawn simply continued the 1-hour hike across, and the 5-hour hike up the trail to reach the top of Dead Cliffs. Top of Dead Cliffs. Shawn gazed at Danny, Tanya, and Aaron with the most confused look on his face. "That was totally not cool leaving me behind like that," said Shawn. Danny, Tanya, and Aaron just stood with blank looks on their faces. "How long have you guys been up top?" asked Shawn. 6 hours, said Danny in a weird speaking voice. "There's no way you've been up top for that long," said Shawn. Tanya just giggled like always. "There's a 1-hour hike straight across, plus it's 5 more hours to reach here up top." "So, how is it that you've been up top for 6 hours?" asked Shawn as he curiously gazed at Danny, Tanya, and Aaron. "There's breakfast tomorrow at 6 a.m., said Danny in a muffled voice. "Why does his voice sound like that?" whispered Shawn to himself. Shawn quickly set up his tent and went inside. The next morning, Shawn stepped outside his tent at exactly 6 a.m. On a portable griddle, there were sweet and spicy bacon strips, scrambled eggs with diced ham, and garlic and cheese biscuits. Shawn overheard Danny, Tanya, and Aaron as they talked amongst themselves as they ate their breakfast inside of Danny's tent. Shawn took his breakfast back to his tent. "There's no smell, no taste, whatsoever," whispered Shawn as he ate his breakfast. "You know what?" said Shawn. Afterward, Shawn quickly packed up his camping gear. As Shawn packed up his camping gear, again he noticed that he could barely make out what Danny, Tanya, and Aaron talked about. "It sounds like English, but I can't understand anything they're saying," whispered Shawn. At this point, Shawn was totally freaked out. Shawn frantically hiked down the hiking trail with a look of terror and confusion on his face. Bottom of Dead Cliffs. "What in the heck?" asked Shawn as he could not believe his eyes as he curiously gazed at Danny, Tanya, and Aaron as they chatted with Julie Sue, the paranormal investigator. "My name is Danny Boyd and I'm a ski instructor. I almost died during an avalanche. I totally love coming to Dead Cliffs. It's my new home," said Danny. "I'm Tanya Rothers. I kinda went viral as the female truck driver who died in a huge highway accident. However, I'm not dead. Before truck driving, my girlfriends and I often hiked up here. Dead Cliffs has always been my comfort zone," said Tanya. "I feel like I already know you," said Julie Sue. "Hi, I'm Aaron Whitmire. I did volunteer patrol here at Dead Cliffs. Somehow an awful rumor started that I was killed by an unknown creature that lives up here on Dead Cliffs." "You look alive to me," said Julie Sue. "I feel more alive than ever," said Aaron. "What brings you back to the Dead Cliffs?" asked Julie Sue. "Peace, serenity," said Aaron. "For me, I feel deeply connected to all the spirits here," said Julie Sue. "Yo, that's the guy we're talking about," said Danny as he gestured toward Shawn. "We couldn't make out a word he was saying earlier," whispered Tanya. "Shawn never stopped walking and he never made eye contact with any of them." 1 hour straight across. Shawn kept his head up as he nervously walked across. "Oh my gosh," shouted Shawn as he suddenly saw Danny, Tanya, and Aaron all the way across the 1-hour walk. "They're like ghosts or something," said Shawn. Next, Danny, Tanya, and Aaron completely vanished. Julie Sue walked past Shawn with a wicked smirk on her face. "You're dead right about that," said Julie Sue in a weird, disembodied, speaking voice. "Yo, that's the paranormal investigator who fell off Dead Cliffs and died here," whispered Shawn to himself. At this point, Shawn was so freaked out, he fainted and fell backward to the ground. A large crowd of hikers found Shawn. Afterward, Shawn, now in total peace, journeyed his way back home. Thanks for watching. As stated earlier, the mysteries and mayhem stories are open-ending. Meaning, It's for you to figure things out yourself. Question: do you think they're all dead and neither of them knows it? Did Shawn Spooner really make it out alive during the roadside bomb attack? A popular Dead Cliffs rumor is that some guy died while active duty in the military, and his soul traveled all the way back to the one place he truly loved. That place was called Dead Cliffs. Again, you decide. Did you enjoy the video called Mysteries and Mayhem? You're dead right about that? I love reading your fantastic comments in the comments section. I would like to say welcome to all who are new to the channel. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button and simply share this video on your social media. To keep up to date with the epic comic book content on this channel, just click the bell notification icon. More Mysteries and Mayhem, original comic book stories. Coming soon.